Hey guys, guess who we're talking about today? I'm sure you'll recognize this face. Oh, let's look at the back. Bill Withers. Just watched a documentary about him called Still Bill, and I watched that for free on the Tubi app, which is available on your smart device. Bill Withers is kind of a unique guy, and he's just unlike anybody else in music history. Great songwriter, but great person. So this documentary is one of the few documentaries out there where there's full cooperation of the person who's the subject of the documentary. They're in his house interviewing him. They're traveling around town with him, talking to different friends and people he hasn't seen in a while, going to different events with him. But there's also regular documentary style stuff with interviews of famous people. Sting makes a brief appearance. Different people he played with. So that's the review of the style of the documentary. And now we're really going to talk about Bill himself. I can't believe I can't find his first record. This has been the ongoing theme of my channel, is I got records strewn everywhere, and they're not in as good an order as they should be. So the earliest of his records I have is called Still Bill, which is also the title of the documentary. And I think that is an interesting title. Does it mean Still Bill, like, hey, I'm still Bill? I think it means something else about him as a person. Still as in calm. He's a calm, collected, thoughtful guy, which maybe is the opposite of a lot of frantic musicians out there. His career is unlike anybody else's in music history, because he didn't even think about writing songs or playing an instrumental. He was in his 30s. He did not have one of these horrible childhoods in the ghetto or anything. He grew up in kind of a poor but working class family, and he went to join the military, and he came out of the military with a good trade, which was sort of airplane mechanic. So he had a very good paying airplane mechanic job, and he occupied his time with kind of thinking of these songs in his head, and finally he decided to write them down and shop them around to some record companies. And it didn't really take him long to get signed. And his first song, Ain't No Sunshine, which is on his first record that I do not have, that was a pretty big hit. So he went from nothing to overnight sensation. And that's the opposite of most of the stories we hear about musicians. I played crummy clubs all over town for nothing for 10 years before anybody noticed me. He didn't do that. He had no history of playing at dive bars for pennies and all that stuff. He had a nice job. He decided to learn to play music. He went and showed people his music. He got signed immediately, and his first record was a hit, and his second record was a hit. So this is his second record, Still Bill. First record had Ain't No Sunshine. This is a neat design with the flaps. There's Bill on the inside. 70s had a lot of weird die cuts and flaps, as you know. What tunes are on here? I'll go back to Bill, but I just want to... Okay, Use Me is on here, Use Me Up, and Lean On Me. And those are the two hits that you'd all know. His tunes, he's a philosopher, and he's a very thoughtful, deep guy. That's why I keep going back to the phrase Still Bill. There's a phrase called Still Waters Run Deep. Calmness means people are thinking before they open their mouth. That's a big theme with him, is thinking about what you say before you say it and making sure you have something to say. He's quoting philosophers and poets all the time, just like it's nothing, like around the house. So what was I going to say? Anyway, he had this instant fame that was kind of startling to him, and he kind of rejected a lot of the trappings of fame. He was really not into fast women and fast cars and drugs and all that stuff. He avoided all that stuff. He just wanted to be a simple guy, and that documentary shows some of the conflicts he had with the record companies, the executives. He said that he was confronted by these people that he called black spurts, people who were expert on being black but really knew nothing about being black. And when they told him that he should definitely record In the Ghetto, the Elvis Presley song, he was totally pissed off about that. He's like, the ghetto is not who I am. I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. I'm just a simple guy from a working class, background. So as long as we're on the topic of his record company, that's kind of the only negative in this whole movie. You don't hear a lot of negativity coming out of his mouth. So both of these two records are on the Sussex label, which is a short-lived label in Los Angeles in the early 70s. And he was their major star on it. But one day, guess what happened to his record label? The IRS showed up and padlocked the doors and said, you guys forgot to pay some of your taxes, so we're seizing all your stuff. So imagine what it's like to be a recording artist, and the IRS has walked away with your master tapes and your sheet music and your record contracts and who knows what else. But so that was the major bump and obstacle in his life, which is different than the stories of tragedy and drug that you hear from a lot of other musicians. But so Sussex record, they had one other notable artist. Now, what was his name? Rodriguez. They made a documentary about him called "Searching for Sugarman" that actually won a Academy Award. And this guy made like 2 records and then disappeared off the face of the earth and went to was it South Africa, South America? He just disappeared, and then they made a great documentary about him. I haven't seen that one yet. I gotta see that. I'll review that someday. So let's get back to Bill Withers. Let's see. I'll show you some of his other records. I think I've given you the gist of what he is like as a person. And, okay guys. Got this last year for $1, maybe $2 because it's a 2-record set. Got this at the Goodwill, not too far from here. And you don't have to tell my wife I gave it to her for Christmas. I would rather she spend $2 on me than $30 on a record I don't like. So we're simple folk here, like Bill Withers, believe it or not. We don't need to be flashy. Some records you might want to spend the $30 on the fancy version. But so this is his live record, live at Carnegie Hall. And it's got some of the hits on it that you'd all recognize. One hit that is kind of I don't know if it's a giant hit, but notable song on here is called "Grandma's Hands," a song about his grandma and his special relationship he had with her. That's just not something you're likely to see in top 40 or urban radio today. I mean, imagine a rapper coming out with a song talking about how wonderful his grandma is. I mean, Bill has really got a great head on his shoulders and a strong sort of moral foundation and family values and all that sort of stuff. He married a girl because she was intelligent. She was getting an MBA. Oh, it was at a Gil Scott-Heron concert, and he spotted this beautiful girl and they chatted, and turns out she was getting her MBA at UCLA, and he thought, you know what, I don't know what to do with all of my money, and I'm going to marry this girl who understands money. That's usually not why famous musicians hook up with their girlfriends, because they're smart with money, okay? Have you ever heard that in any documentary about a music star? So that's kind of, and he's still with his wife, and his daughter is in the documentary. And they just show them, around the house, eating cereal and reading the newspaper and talking and singing tunes and strumming the guitar, and his daughter wants to be a singer, and good luck to her. Hope she has a good future. Alright, that's Bill Withers at Carnegie Hall. And what else? Then I got other records that are not on the Sussex label, which did not last very long. Menagerie, when did that come out? That's got Lovely Day. And Lovely Day was a song that younger folks first discovered when Apple used it in an iPod commercial a few years ago. Very, very nice tune. Okay, $1.99 for that one. And then what else do we have? Bill Withers' Greatest Hits on Columbia 1981 CBS. See how the artwork got kind of worse over the years compared to the early stuff. Just the two of us. Ain't no sunshine, lean on me. Lean on me. Okay, that song is so simple. It's 4 notes. I was playing it on the piano when I was like 5. My son actually played it. He accompanied some play when he was in 3rd grade. Lean on me. He was just playing like two-handed version of the 4 notes. Da 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 da. And that was a theme reoccurring with Bill, as the producers would come in and try to jazz up and funk up and overproduce his records. It's like, oh, you got to have the background singers, you got to have the synth, you got to have the such and such overdubs. And he's like, I don't need all that. I got my piano, I got a guitar. I don't need any special effects. So all about simplicity and honesty and truthfulness. Yeah, that really doesn't play well in the music business, does it? He's the opposite. He's the anti-music business. Maybe that'll be the title of this video, is Bill Withers, the anti-music business musician. Bill is still with us and healthy and thinking about making music, and got his own studio, and he's not making $1 zillion, but he's not trying to make $1 zillion. So anyway, guys, check out the documentary Still Bill. I saw it on Tubi, but you can see it on other sources. You can buy the DVD. And hope you enjoy and appreciate Bill Withers for the type of guy he is. And that's another documentary coming to you from the Vinyl Rundown. Thanks, guys.